Welcome back. In this video, we'll be talking about section 3.1, and specifically, we're going to be talking about multiplying polynomials. And we're going to talk about how to multiply two binomials together. So down here we have two binomials. Remember, factors are connected by multiplication. So I've got one factor and the other factor connected by multiplication. So you can see that the terms in that first factor I put up here, and the terms on that second factor I put down the side. And so that's how we set this up so that we can use this method called the box method. I'll be talking about another method, and you can use either method. Either one will give you the answer. You can pick whichever one works better for you. All right, let's take a look how we do this. All right, so first we're going to multiply 4x by x. And when we do that, we get 4x squared. Because there's these invisible ones on those exponents of x, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So be careful there. Now let's fill in this box. We'll do 3 times x is 3x. Now let's take a negative 5 times it by 4x. Gives us negative 20x. And negative 5 times 3 is negative 15. All right, now that we have everything in these boxes, you should notice that those two are like terms. And so we're going to fill those in what's boxed down here, because those need to be combined together for our final answer. So let's put negative 20x and positive 3x. Now, on the front term and the last term, we'll put these other ones that we have here. So we're going to take our 4x squared, and let's just put it out here in front. We like to write things in descending order. It just makes it more organized for us. It's not incorrect if you write it in a different order, but it is helpful in math to write it in that order. All right, so we have all of our four terms filled in those blanks, and now we need to combine those terms together in the middle. So we can leave that 4x squared just how it is. When we combine negative 20x plus 3x, we get negative 17x. Next, we bring down that last term, negative 15. All right, and there we have our answer for this. Let's try the next one. All right, it's already set up for us. We have our box, we have our terms of our first factor written here, and we have our terms of our second factor written down the side. Let's multiply these together. So 6y times 3y is 18y squared. 6y times negative 2 is negative 12y. Negative 7 times 3y is negative 21y. And negative 7 times negative 2 is a positive 14. All right. Now before I fill these in down here, I do want to mention that it doesn't matter if you write your 3y minus 2 on the top or if you write it on the side. You could write the 6y minus 7 on the top instead, because multiplication, which is what this is, right, is commutative. If we have 2 times 3, that's the same thing as 3 times 2. They both equal 6. So the order doesn't matter when we're multiplying. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill in what we have here. So we're going to have our two terms in the middle. And then we have our first term. And again, there's nothing to add with it, but let's make sure that we include it. And then also that 15 needs to be included as well. And also that 14, we need to make sure we include that as well. All right, so let's write our final answer here. Bring down that 18y squared. Let's combine our negative 21y with our negative 12y, which will give us negative 33y. And then last, we need to bring down that positive 14. All right, and there we go. We have our answer. It's multiplied together, and then we made sure that we combined any like terms that we had also. All right, now let's look at another method of multiplying two binomials together. And it's really the distributive property, and we're doing it twice. Sometimes you've heard a little acronym to help you remember this, which is FOIL. And that FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, and last. So it's just a way to make sure that you are distributing everything that you need to distribute. All right, so let's start off. We've got our first terms. 6 times 5 is positive 30. Now let's take our outside terms, so that's our 6 and our negative x, and multiply those together, which is negative 6x. All right, so all I did so far was distributed the 6 and then distributed the 6 again. All right, but now we need to multiply our x by both things as well. So we're going to take our x and multiply it by 5, and that will give us plus 5x. And then our last terms multiplied together, x times negative x, is going to give me negative x squared. Now make sure that you look for like terms that you need to combine together. And I can see that I do have some like terms here that I need to combine. So 30 is just how it is. There's nothing to combine with that. If I combine my negative 6x and my 5x, I get negative x. And then there's nothing else to combine with my x squared term. So I can leave my answer like that, but usually in math we like to write things in descending order. So you could also write it as negative x squared minus x plus 30. Either of those are correct answers. It's just we oftentimes write things in descending order because we like to keep things organized. All right, let's take a look at this next one. We've got our first terms to multiply together. X times x is x squared. Then let's multiply our outside terms. So x times negative 8, negative 8x. Now let's multiply our inside terms, which would give us positive 8x. And now we need to multiply the last terms together. 8 times negative 8 is negative 64. And let's make sure that we combine our like terms. Got x squared. Oh, look what happens here. I have negative 8x plus 8x. And those zero out. So there's no x term left. And so now I just need to bring down my negative 64. So x squared minus 64 would be my answer for that one. All right, let's continue on and do this next one. On problem 12, we have 2x plus 7 all squared. Now, when you have a question like this, I encourage you to rewrite that as 2x plus 7 times 2x plus 7. Because when we square something, we're multiplying it by itself. And then from there, you can go ahead and use that distributive property and FOIL it if you want to think of it in terms of FOIL. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared. Then let's do our outside terms. 2x times 14 is plus 14x. And our inside terms, 7 times 2x is another 14x. And then our last term is 7 times 7, which is 49. All right, right, when we combine like terms together on this one, there's nothing to combine with a 4x squared, but a 14x plus a 14x is going to give me a 28x in the middle. And then our last term will be plus 49. Now, make sure you notice that on this one, our term in the middle doubled. Now, noticing kind of some patterns here is going to help you with the next thing that we're going to be talking about when we're undoing this. And on this one, they zeroed out, right? So this one they zeroed out. We had opposite signs. This one, they doubled. So let's look at the factors that we have here. We have an x plus 8 and an x minus 8. They're very similar. It's just the sign inside is different, right? This one you're adding, this one you're subtracting. When we have something like that, we call these conjugates. All right, so now let's continue on and do problem 13. Now in this we really can't do FOIL because there's not the 4 terms. We have a binomial multiplied by a trinomial, but we can still use the distributive property. So let's start by multiplying our 2x by our 3x squared, which is going to give me 6x to the 3rd power. Now let's take our 2x and multiply it by our next term. So 2x times negative 4x is negative 8x squared. And now we need to take that 2x and distribute it to the 7. 2x times 7 is a positive 14x. Now we need to distribute the negative 3 to everybody. I'm going to distribute fairly, make sure everybody gets it. So negative 3 times negative x squared is negative 9x squared. Now we need to multiply the negative 3 by the negative 4x. So that's going to give me positive 12x. And our last thing we need to multiply is going to be our negative 3 times 7, which is negative 21. All right, now I set it up in this way just so it would be easier to add my terms together. So for our answer, we'll have 6x cubed minus 17x squared plus 26x and then minus 21. All right, I hope that helps you understand how to multiply polynomials together.